Hello YouTube, this is MichaelB the Game Genie, and this is a quick video response to Captain8Bit's some of my favorite Super Nintendo games. So first thing first, I want to take this opportunity to say I absolutely love your channel, and I want to say I'm so impressed that you're still doing vlogs and video content like this on YouTube. I mean, you already have your own show on RetroRare TV, and you're also on Captain8Bit. You don't have to do this, but you still do it, and you still have a lot of appreciation for the YouTube community, which I'm new to, but I've been a long time follower of you guys, so I think that's amazing. So thank you so much for doing that. That's kind of what prompted me to do this video response, even though I've got videos that I said I was going to put out a week ago that I still haven't done. So, here we go, really quickly, some of my favorite Super Nintendo games. So the first game I want to talk about is an amazing Super Nintendo game that just honestly doesn't get enough credit, and that is Super Metroid. I'm sorry? Everybody already knows about Super Metroid? All kidding aside, the first two games I want to talk about are games for the Super Nintendo that were pretty big-time sequels that were released on the Super Nintendo that I thought they did an excellent job with, but just don't get enough play. The first one I'm going to talk about is by Trade West, and that is Battletoads and Battlemaniacs. Battletoads and Battlemaniacs it's really a fun game. I mean, it definitely majorly improved over the graphics in the original Nintendo game. The gameplay was still pretty strong, it still had the same legendary Battletoads difficulty, and I thought it was an excellent game. And I'm amazed that everybody goes back and talks about the original Battletoads, but Battletoads and Battlemaniacs doesn't get any credit. But you know what? I loved it. I thought it was a great game. Second game I want to talk about, a lot of people might come back at me and say, no, this game gets all the praise it needs, and that is Super Punch-Out. Super Punch-Out's an excellent game. I know they went in a couple different directions with this, that the lead character was no longer Little Mac. Actually, he looks like a really beefed up Nestor from the old Nintendo Power catalogs and Nestor's Funky Bowling on the Virtual Boy. But you know what? This was still an excellent game, a lot of fun to play, a lot of classic Punch-Out characters came back, and you know what? Overall, it was an excellent game. But no one talks about it in the same vein that they talk about the original Punch-Out. It really amazes me. The next game I want to talk about is an RPG series that has just been forgotten through time. There's been 4 total. 2 were for the Super Nintendo, 2 for the PlayStation. There was a 5th game as well, but it wasn't really in the same vein as the original 4 games. And it's definitely an RPG series that I'm disappointed isn't around anymore, and that is Breath of Fire. And the original Breath of Fire on the Super Nintendo was just an amazing game. You know, it's a fun, excellent JRPG. Really enjoyable to play. It's got a pretty good storyline, pretty colorful, and you know what? Overall, it's just great fun. Last couple games I want to talk about are... they'd be considered sports titles nowadays, but back on the Super Nintendo, realistically, they were so much more superior than anything else that was released. And they were actually licensed games, and that is WWF wrestling games on the Super Nintendo. The first one I want to talk about is WWF Royal Rumble. I'm sorry I'm going to do this, but shameless plug, I'm in the middle of doing a review right now on a certain Super Nintendo game. I'm not saying which one, but hopefully that's going to be up later this week. It's supposed to be up Friday, sorry about that. But WWF Royal Rumble, produced by the evil LJN, is actually a fantastic game. It was one of the first games to integrate the wrestlers' actual theme songs. It had their finishing move, and you know what? Overall, it did a really great job. This, at the time, was the closest thing you were going to get to a solid wrestling game that had everything you wanted. Growing up, I loved WrestleFest in the arcades, and you know what? We had nothing like it on the home systems until WWF Royal Rumble came out. And the only thing that could have been better was WWF Raw. They updated the character list, they put in some great characters. One of the things that really bothered me about the original WWF Royal Rumble was it's the small things, really. So in WWF Royal Rumble, when you did a perfect plex, or if you had someone in a submission move, such as the figure 4 leg lock, sharpshooter, or $1 Million Dream, after you finished the move, you had to knock them down and pin them. Or with the perfect plex, you had to let go of the perfect plex and then pin the character afterwards. I love that in WWF Raw for the Super Nintendo, they took this feature out, and you could actually make your opponent submit, or if there was a finishing move that went directly into a pin, they did it. So excellent job, WWF Raw. Alright guys, so this has been MichaelB the Game Genie doing a quick video response to Captain8Bit. This is a really great concept. I forgot to say at the beginning of the video, but I'm going to say it now. Two of the games you picked, Batman Returns, is my second favorite beat-em-up of all time on the Super Nintendo. I love the game. I never picked it up when I was younger because I finished it, I think, the first time I ever rented it. But I rented it a bunch of times, and I'd finished it each time. And at the time, I just didn't deem it purchase-worthy, and it's a game I never picked up. I would love to have nowadays. So, I'm on the lookout for Batman Returns all the time, and I completely agree with you. The other one that's real a surprise is the Addams Family. I love the Addams Family. I actually got it. We had this thing with the game store, basically, where you could trade games in. I forget what game I originally traded in. For some reason, I want to say Rampart, but I think I'm wrong, because I don't think they ever released Rampart on the Super Nintendo. But I traded it in and paid $7, and I picked up the Addams Family, which I took home, and I love that game. I finished it, and at the time, you know, I was a kid, I didn't have a whole lot of money. I had finished the Addams Family, it was a great game, but I kind of wanted to trade it in. Now, before you say, how could you have ever traded it in? I did get a box complete copy of Super Castlevania 4 for it, and plus $7, so you know what? I kind of don't regret getting Super Castlevania 4, but I always wanted to pick up the Addams Family again, and it's definitely another game that as soon as I saw it, I'd pick it up. Excellent choices, Captain8Bit. You're a great guy. I love your channel. I love the Game Chasers. A lot of people say they'd love to see the Game Chasers on DVD. I'd rather see you on TV. I think you deserve it. Your show is amazing. So anyways, guys, this is MichaelB the Game Genie. I'll talk to you next time.